what I wanted to talk. So I will give a pure one lesson to go to move ahead. But I'm raising the question and also the answers. The doer, enjoyer, pain, pleasure. The doer inside me should be based on the dharma. And dharma means that karma yoga. Karma yoga means what is right, good, and proper. So you have already raised a question in your intellect about the mind to go on a vacation when the real self is of the nature of peace and happiness here and now. And then mind manipulates. Mind says, okay, that is what it is. No, that is not what it is. Why it should be in the life of a seeker. No, no, and now I find the equanimity. Why not before? Why not before? It means the hidden ego is creating and causing the problem. Why it is causing the problem? The mind is not accepting the knowledge which we have understood. Why the mind is not accepting the solution from the intellect? Because the mind is still carried away by the past and the false impression, which includes the prarabdha, which includes the pleasure seeking mind. Pleasure seeking mind prompts me to go. Now, there are two options here that we will talk later and we'll come to the Gita. Two options. Outer situation is that I take that outer situation, events, people, relationship as a movie, but I'm fully aware of the screen. So there is a simultaneous awareness of the screen and the movie is being played out. What is that movie? I have to go on vacation. But simply saying intellectually will not work. It will not change. It will not change. So, seeker, why the seeker performs an action in the world? Just to purify the mind. If I don't remember this, then there is always the mind will return to the past impressions. Seeker is just playing a role, means purifying the mind, and when you do that, then the reward, there is a reward of purity of mind. Reward is of purity of the mind. Reward is of that purity of the mind. That mind listens to the knowledge we have understood. And otherwise, what happens? I will talk in detail about the mind sets the value, and value coming from impure mind or value coming from the pure mind is the basic challenge. Mind is coming from the value in the mind. What is that value? I'll go there. Okay. I will do this. I will talk to him. I will go to restroom. Every action, value coming from the pure mind, no problem. Outer action is the same. You are going on vacation. That action is the same. But the value in the mind coming from the pure mind, purity, you are no problem. Value coming from the impure mind, there is always a problem. Even everything passes peacefully. Honey says, oh, let us go there and we will celebrate. Celebrate, I should celebrate my life. That is more important in the life of a seeker than, okay, where is the problem? I have the resources. No, I will take the credit. Why should I take the credit? To celebrate. Why shouldn't I celebrate at my home? Let us sit together, discuss, understand what are the challenges that we both have, and get rid of it. No, but if the partner is not listening, let me become silent. Silent is the way to purify the mind. I do not allow my mind to start thinking negatively or reacting to the things and events outside. I will talk about this in a detail about this value. So that is the what the summary of what you explained. I wake up in the morning. This mind is constantly nagging you, nagging all of us. This mind will continue to nag us. Why it will nag us? Because it is impulsive in nature. It has an automatic survival mechanism. Lion is a lion sitting and sleeping, and the moment there is a little sound, there is an impulsive reaction. So the same way the human mind also has the same reaction. The mind has already set the value of automatic survival mechanism and the ego and seeking pleasure and pain in the world outside. Oh, just let me help satisfy. No, satisfy yourself. So we will talk that the mind sets the value in the life of a seeker. And that value is unchanged. And if that value set by the mind is unchanged, you are the higher level of a seeker, ready to go for the seventh chapter. Why the seventh chapter? Why we should go? So the first six chapters is all about karma yoga, all about doing something, practicing meditation. Should I not continue? No, I must continue. I must continue. I used to spend a lot of time in anxiety, reaction, duality, negativity. Now, because of practice of the six chapters of the Gita, my mind is relatively more free. I have more time. What to do in the more time? I should be practicing regularly. So that is why we say in two ways. The first six chapters talks about the individual. We should change the orientation of that individual. How this individual, Eric, as an individual, thinks, speaks, and acts in life. Oh, that there is a total reorientation. I talk of the same thing. I say honey as a honey, but inner attitude is changed. If that attitude has changed, it will take me to the seventh chapter. If it is not, inner orientation remains as same. I submit to the pressure of ignorance and delusion, then there is a problem. I have not completed the first six steps. There's a lot of, but I'm just pointing that needs to be, that needs to be. So it means I have a new set of values, new set of skills, new set of responding to a situation. That is rise in awareness. What is that rise in awareness? That makes me a seeker. So what is that seeker in the seventh chapter? So second six chapters, you'll be surprised. Yes, my master used to say that seventh chapter is the main chapter in the second category. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th is an explanation. It's simply an elaboration, exploration to see the bigger picture clearly. But the sixth, seventh chapter is the main chapter where we discuss and understand. We move from being an individual to Brahman to the Supreme Self. What is this as an individual? I have understood these are the challenges in the first six chapters. I'm constantly working on it, but at the same time, now I should know what is this Supreme. And the third group of the six chapters, how that individual and the Supreme are in fact one. And that leads to what is known as awakening, realization, etc., etc. So here in order to understand, Gita says the Krishna is that supreme consciousness. So that Krishna is not different from the subjective reality present in me. So I have to study the seventh chapter with that understanding that Krishna consciousness. Have you seen that we have ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness? Swami Prabhupada made a headline during 70s and 80s. He was totally focused on the teachings of the Gita. So he said International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Krishna consciousness means it is pure consciousness. It is simply, it is the same thing. So there we understand what is Brahman, it is the supreme consciousness. Then it manifests at a lower level, it is known as the Ishvara. And from the Ishvara we come to reincarnation. And from the reincarnation we come to the God. And that from the God, who is God? Who is Ishvara? Ishvara is awakened since birth. No ignorance at all. No prarabdha, no past impression. And what we are as a human being, we are ignorant. So what is the purpose of the human life? To become aware and awaken to that nature. So it means that is the difference between the one who is born awakened, the one who is born in ignorance, in delusion. In delusion. You see that, oh, I have to attend the session at 11. That is a very subtler delusion, because it keeps me into the time. That makes me aware that there is a past, there is a 9 a.m., there is a 10 a.m., there is a 10:30 a.m. Very subtle level of delusion. So when all those delusion drops completely, that is the meaning of simply awakening and realization. Then won't you say that I have to attend the session at 10 or 10? No, you still say. No, but then what is the difference between the two? Difference is very subtle and very clear. Awakened is simultaneously aware of the two factors. The timelessness is the first factor, time is the second factor. So, what it means, the time in timelessness. I'm a greater seeker. Action in actionlessness. That pointer gives you some idea. So, why I said this? I said this, that is what we discussed in the last session, that I am an actor and a doer, but this doer comes from the doerlessness. That doerlessness is the knowing. It is the knower. Now I have migrated, if I use the word. I have migrated from doer, enjoyer to a knower. Knower. Who are you? Yes, 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 I'm Eric. Finished. I need not to do anything to know you.
I was looking at the senses, how we can't control, like if we see, we don't have any choice. Like
Yeah.
seeing happens or a sound, hearing. And I thought, oh, like when you really get it, you're not involved in the senses at all. What's happening is happening, and all we're doing is seeing what is being seen, right? But I realized, whoa, that's a very, very clear
Yeah.
picture that we're not the senses, nor the ones making the experience happening. Not really, and we're not the ones experiencing really either. That's really the senses. It was very subtle, but very. I thought, oh,
Yeah.
that I see.
See the example. So you rightly gave that example that I say you that I see you. Go a little deeper. I. Who is this I? How it is created, and then how I say, how and why I say you are. So there is I. There is I is the one factor, you is the second factor, seeing is the third factor. Third factor. Now from the three factors, create more factors to find out delusion in you. That is about the seventh chapter. So what is that? Oh, that I is an I thought in the intellect. It is not me. Okay, it is not me, but how you say it, that is the journey of the self discovery. So I have to follow the path of discernment. From the three, I created four. Now, when I say seeing, so there are three levels of seeing. There is a sensual perception, there is a mental perception with an image of you coming from the memory. So the memory has come into the picture. Sensual perception, mental perception, or we say the third eye perception. I covered that. Third eye means it is a right perception. What is right perception? It is the direct perception. What is direct perception? What is the direct perception? The self is seeing the self. Oh my goodness, self is seeing the self. Then where the I and you have gone? Uh, Gone. They are delusion. We have already realized. So even I'm looking through the senses, I have the past memory. From the memory, I know your name and the shape. Oh, so I was thinking last week, there is only one real self. Now you see how we create principles. Then it will become easy. One is there is only one supreme self. What about the two? What about the two? The moment there is a duality, there is a division. And there is a division. There is a delusion. That is what we say the Maya. How it is caused? We say three. What is the three? Three gunas. I was just thinking last week and I said, okay, let me continue to create for understanding different seekers. So, what about the four? Or now the Trinity is created, Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna has created the duality, and because of that, the entire world I perceive, I am already lost. What should I do? I'm already lost. Follow the fourfold. What you fourfold? Fourfold goal and goal in life. What are those goals? What are dharma? So I have to follow the karma yoga to purify the mind. Dharma. What I no I so should I stop all the pleasure seeking? No, you go for the pleasure seeking to remind yourself that the ultimate pleasure is the real self. That is the second category. The third is the artha. Should I not earn? Yes, I should continue to earn. Because to for the need based life, not the pleasure based life. And so why I should do follow three? Why I should follow three? Follow three in order to reach to the highest state of moksha, nirvana, awakened state. Oh, that is the four. There are still more, the four levels of seekers. What kind of a seeker I am? I want to pray the God in order to get rid of the current problems. Lowest level of a seeker, but still I have certain faith in the existence. Artharthi, the second level. What is the second level? Now I have everything well placed, and now I am seeking the God in order to earn more. My mind is still there. Third level of a seeker, I'm only seeking the real self. I become the higher level of a seeker. What is the fourth? Fourth is already realized he doesn't need anything. Oh, I have understood it. Then what is five? I have to get rid of the five layers of ignorance. Five layers of ignorance. how? How I have to check? I have to check by 6 enemies and 6 friends. Ah, any time in the mind I have certain level of attachment and detachment, enemy. I am not impacted by any event, situation, people, and relationship outside. Sama, the 6 treasures. And the seventh, in the another text, which is a unique text, 7 layers of ignorance. 7 layers of ignorance, and in Kundalini, we also talk about 7 chakras. What about 8? 8 steps are to be taken. We are trying to understand in this from the 7th and the 12th chapter, we will come to know the 8th. Oh, 8 steps, you're talking about it. Okay. And then comes to the ninth. And ninth, we go at a very subtler level, the layers of delusion, superimposition, they are number 9, and we come back to 0. Why 0? Why 0 we come back to? From the 2nd to the 9, they do not exist. It is false. It is illusion. That is why we come to 0. What is left? Who is searching? It is me. Who is me? It is the Supreme Consciousness. It is the highest consciousness. That is what is explained differently in the chapter 7, is another way to understand the 7th chapter. We can also understand by wave in the ocean. Wave in the ocean and wave in the water. Who is individual? First 6 chapters, the wave. Wave appears to have distinct form and identity. It rises, it moves, it eventually subsides. It experiences the change, variation, and a sense of separation from the waves. This represents the individual soul, jiva, which perceives itself as a separate identity. Then only I have a perception, I see you. So should I not say that I see you? No, I keep on saying it, but internally your perception is clear that self is seeing the self. That is our 7th chapter. So individual sections of this Gita focusing on the karma, individual aspect, focus on the karma, meditation practice, self reflection consistently. No way. Say, for example, the mind somewhere says, I'm awakened. Okay. I'm awakened, so I will spend 10 hours in sleep on the weekend. You are not awakened. Laziness has no place. Come on, laziness has no place. The laziness belongs to tamoguna. Tamoguna cannot dominate you. So even you are planning for a tamoguna, what kind of an awakening you are talking about? Are you making yourself fool? I'm just giving one example. So I missed 2 times during the last 20 years living in US. Yes, I still remember. So I create a very strong guilt. No, I should not do it. This guilt is very positive. No way. Why? How dare? How dare mind you moved into tamoguna? That is one way to say it. Oh, I'm already awakened. I have done 10 hours of meditation practice today. So today is the Saturday and Sunday and I'll spend. No. There is no way. The moment you have that way, we know where you stand for.
No, looking through the gunas is a great self-test, self-check.
Self-test, you see that? So now come to the supreme, that is the 7th chapter. Now we are analyzing the water is the underlying substance that constitutes all wave. is overlooked, is deluded by the name and the form as an individual. So we are going deeper that as an individual, not with the name and the form, not with the pain and pleasure, not with an individuality, but I'm looking at that essence is the water in the wave. Why it is why it is to be understood clearly, it will drop your individuality. You no longer remain the knower. No, sorry, you no longer remain the doer and the enjoyer. You become the knower. And the moment you become the knower, everything is a play and a fun in your life, whatever is happening. Have you seen the movie? There is a horror plot. There is a plot where the villain kills the attacks the actor, and then the actor dominates. These are the different plays happening on the movie. On the movie, nothing happens on the screen. Nothing happens to the water. Everything happens to the wave in the form of a name and the form. So I have to, there is a subtle level of delusion is still left. So the master says, no, we have to get rid of this delusion. How to get rid of the delusion? I should know that my nature is ocean. My nature is not an individual. I live into that. So why? Because my perception changes. I still look through the eyes, but my perception changes. Now that perception is not coming from the memory prarabdha. That is what the seventh chapter talks about. But Krishna talks in a totally in a different way. Why? Answer all those we have to answer. Because now he realizes that Arjuna has already become a seeker, and his mind is not distracted. He has no doubt about it. So Krishna, without asking, Arjuna, without asking the question, Krishna says, let me continue. Now you are a great seeker. Why you are a great seeker? Krishna in the very first verse emphasizes, listen patiently, listen with clear intention. He repeats 3 times, listen, and listen now. Why he is pointing that you are a great seeker, and I will continue the journey. And then he begins the journey. So then he says, you are not a wave, come on, you are an ocean. You are an ocean. So from the standpoint of name and the form and the birth of the body and the death, you claim that you are an individual. Why don't you have a standpoint of a water, the essence present in you? That is the real self, that is the consciousness, you are all pervading. But he doesn't say, he says, that is me. That is the supreme consciousness. But why he says this? My master used to tickle around and he says, why he says this? It is for the ego extremely difficult to declare that individual is also the supreme. So he says, forget about it, I am the supreme. Follow me. And then he will come back that you are also the supreme. So, process. Why this process? I have to recognize and realize all those movements in my life, in my thought, behavior, and attitude. Did I do something wrong? Did I fall into illusion? Did I fall back? No, I have to return to this. So the master says, return to this. The wave analogy highlights concept of, what is the concept of? Concept of delusion or maya or illusion behind oneness of the individual and the supreme. It's a separateness. Separatedness is basically an illusion. There is one text, which I always love to guide and teach. Why? Because I learn every time I teach. That is no nonsense text. There are two texts, about this. They directly approach why there is a duality, why you perceive the duality. And from there they start. The duality is because the moment I perceive the duality, it is illusion. And he proves that. He is one of the disciples of Shankaracharya. Anyhow, the illusion of separatedness. So when I clearly recognize that illusion of separatedness, can I become angry over my honey? Can I react? Think of it. Just there is no. How can my right hand can hit my left hand? That can I reach to that level of awareness? Yes, this is what awakening and realization is. That is what the path of liberation is. That is how we experience, to use in a language, to get rid of that separatedness. Or to say the wave is essentially the water. One language. Second, the wave is dependent on the water. Wave is dependent on the water. My master used to say, you have a cup. Oh, you have a cup? Okay, you keep the cup and let me know the ceramic. Let me take the ceramic. That is the nature of the individuality. The individuality does not exist at all. But because of the ignorance, because of the delusion, because of the conditioning, because of the prarabdha, we continue to live with that individuality. Did you understand the ceramic cup? So you say, yes, it is a cup. So it means there is a cup and there is a ceramic. There are two things. Oh, there is a clay and there is a clay pot. There are two things. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. So let me take the clay and you keep the cup. Cup does not exist. Same way, let me take this supreme and you live with your individuality. The individuality as such does not exist. Can I have that recognition? Can I have that experience? Am I absorbed into that perception? That is what the highest state of meditation or awakening. So now I'm just covering in a different way the seventh chapter. So now the question comes, yes, but whenever I see a clock here and I have created a duality, hold on. Look at your mind, who creates, you have a memory of the clock. Yes, I have a memory of the clock. I have the memory of the time. Can I get rid of the memory of the clock and the time? Is there any name in the form? So my senses are able to perceive deeper. The mind is pure. Now, do I see the duality? Now, I don't see the duality at all. But what is that? What is that which has dissolved this duality? And I come to the conclusion that is how these principles were created. What is that principle? I dissolve that duality because the sensual perceptions is always limited. Mental perception is always limited. I am searching the supreme consciousness, which is all pervading, which is eternal, which is the real, which does not change. My senses and the mind are changing, so we have to get rid of the sense perception. The first knower, senses. Second knower, the mind. I have to move to the third one. What is the third one is the real knower. What is the real knower is the real self. The real self is what is that real self? It is the supreme self. It is the Krishna. It is the Krishna consciousness. But what is blocking me? What I said, what is blocking me? Me is an individual. The moment I recognize I'm an individual, I cannot go further. I cannot teach further. Krishna realizes that might be thinking in the mind that I cannot teach further. So So he creates a question. What he creates a question? Why individual forgets, suffers? And now he answers. It is because of the illusion. It is because of what is known as the Maya. Maya is a power that creates the world of name in the form. I see the clock, I see the Eric name in the form. Two names in the form it has created. That is what we are going to discuss in the seventh chapter. So the Maya, he is bringing the concept principle of the Maya in between. Why I see individual, you are a seeker, I am a coach, Krishna says, then oh, individual. So because he has to solve this puzzle. Otherwise, if there is only one, there as such there is no wave, then the problem is already solved. But problem is not solved. So we have to create a model to follow the model to reach to the direct perception. So this is a model. So Maya, one problem is the Maya, illusion. What is Maya? The one definition, Maya is a power of the same consciousness which creates the world of name and the form. Another meaning is the illusion. So it is the illusion, yes, but it is still the power. Second problem is ignorance. Where is ignorance? Ignorance that I don't know the real self. Now you see, I'm bringing the teaching from another text. That is also a wonderful teaching of the Master to help us understand. Ignorance, I don't know the real self. That is ignorance. One definition. I misunderstand the real self as something else. These are the two definitions. I don't know the real self. It is the veiling power. I misunderstand something different. What is real self? That is the power of projection. Oh, the ignorance has two powers? Yes. That is why, even if intellect understands I'm the real self, mind says, come on, I have lot of pain in the body. I'm extremely tired. Let me have more sleep today. Tamoguna has come. Okay. Ignorance. So the master deals positively with these two, Maya or ignorance. Then the third is, what happens then the third one? Third one, I instantly become the doer and the enjoyer. I forget everything. Intellect recognizes, mind forgets. There is a struggle between the intellect and the mind. So ignorance, the power of ignorance continues and power of Maya continues. That is why we say it is the power of Maya. Power of Maya. I cannot be the doer and the enjoyer if the power of Maya is not there. Power of ignorance is not there. You get rid of these two, you no longer remain the doer and the enjoyer. Master Krishna says there is a special knowledge. You have already understood in the first 6 chapters, Krishna says, now is the time. You need not to, you have to get rid of the idea and obsession that you are a doer and the enjoyer to find out you are the knower. Why you are the knower? Real self is already inside you. You're not creating the real self to realize the real self. It is already there in you. So what is preventing you? The ignorance and the first is the Maya, second is the ignorance, and third is that I become the doer and the enjoyer. I will get rid of it. So what should I do? Krishna says, know the nature of the Supreme Consciousness. We will talk about it. That is the process. I have to follow the process. If I forget this process, all the first learning from the 6 chapters are gone. I have to go back again. So I have to continue to consistently maintain that journey of an individual. That individual is a third level of a seeker, not the first, second. Again, that will also come. Perhaps in the 6th or 7th chapter it will come. There are 4 levels of a seeker. He clearly explains it. So why I am suffering? The veil of Maya, ignorance, play of the consciousness. I create an I-ness. I thought I become the doer and the enjoyer. Doer. I am frustrated today. Let me go on vacation. I don't realize the ignorance and the power of Maya is present there. Because the vacation is not a guarantee for peace and happiness. So, should I not go? Should I go? I have already explained this. I have already. This is very, 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 very interesting chapter. We already understood the 7th chapter. Once we understand these principles, have not been discussed clearly before. So why? Because we were always talking about at the individual level. What is individual level? Real self. Real self is what? It is all pervading. It is eternal. It is the real. Why it is real? Because it is unchanging identity. It cannot be objectified. But why there is so much of objectification in the world? I see you, objectification. What is all this? So the master says, hold on. Now I am continue to teach. You are a seeker. You have understood that. You have understood that. So the first 6 chapters, it is focused on the individual. This next 6 chapters, starting from the 7th, it's focused on the knowledge part. That who is the knower and who manifests the entire world of name in the form, how it is manifested. If it is manifested by a creator, it means the creator is Elon Musk and the Tesla car. Elon Musk is the creator, Tesla is a car. They are separate. The moment they are separate, then the supreme consciousness cannot be all pervading. It is different. So we don't say it is a creation, we say it is a manifestation. It is a manifestation. The water manifests as waves, as storms. That will help us understand. So when we follow these principles, we reach to a point where we say, yes, we know. That is what Krishna has been teaching. So that is, we start from the 6 chapters. Our focus is on the Supreme Consciousness. And in the Supreme Consciousness, possibly in the 10th chapter, yes, 10th and the 11th chapter, symbolically he says, my body is what you see the world of name and form. Why he says so? So that I can also experience the same state. That is the final self-absorption, where the name and the form is totally dissolved. Where? So-called in you. That is the awakening state. That is the awakening state. This is what the master, I'm just pointing you that how the master is taking us to that level.
I think it's fascinating to see how the Gita and maybe other spiritual writings, but probably more the Gita is such a roadmap.
Yeah.
Right? I sometimes I question, is it really a teaching or a construction manual, or is it a roadmap where we can reference where we are?
That's a good question. You see that we have around 360 Upanishads. Every Upanishad is a revealed text. We have six approaches to find the reality, which is known as six organs of Indian or Eastern philosophy. We have 18 Puranas. Puranas means that the every principle is explained in the form of a story. And we have then every text, the commentary is written. After the commentary, then the second sub commentary has been written. So you can count 3,000 texts. Gita is the summary of all the 3,000 texts. That is how we look Gita as it is. One Upanishad talks of only the knower. Other Upanishad talks of the Panch Kosha. Third Upanishad only mainly talks about the prana. They are also the revealed text, revealed in meditation by different teachers and the masters, but they all come to the same agreement. They all come to the same conclusion. They all come to the same conclusion that there is only one pure consciousness, the real self, and the supreme self is of the nature of truth, all pervading. That is the beauty of the teaching. To say so, I don't want to say, but I'm saying, for example, I used to attend Quakers meeting in New Jersey. I used to attend Methodist Church. They have totally two divergent views about the same, but they do not reach to the same state. We have more than 3,000 texts. We reach to the same conclusion. You are the real self of the nature of permanent peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. That is what you have to realize. That is the beauty. So that is summarized in the Gita. That is summarized in the Gita. Gita contains only 700 verses. Epic Ramayana, written in Sanskrit verses, it contains around 24,000 verses. It tells you the same story, but 20,000 verses. Yoga Vasishtha, another, it comes maybe around 18,000 verses. Gita summarizes each and every one. That is the beauty. And who summarizes? Who summarizes the Krishna? Who is the Krishna? Krishna is the originator of yoga, everything. Yoga, Eastern wisdom. He is the originator. Go a little deeper. You have touched upon the topic. Then what about the Shiva? Master says, what you're saying, are you a seeker or you are a non-seeker? So the master says Krishna is Shiva and Shiva is Krishna.
I remember I used to worry about that, and I laughed one day. Right? What should I be worshiping Krishna instead of Shiva? I thought, oh, okay, what am I doing? That's
Ah,
silly.
so who is the guru?
Right.
My guru is Shiva in this form. My guru is Krishna in this form. I have no problem at all. The mind is this crazy mind has to be clear. Not the Krishna, Shiva, and my guru has to be clear. Are you getting it? It is not, who sees the guru at one place, the Krishna at one place, and the Shiva at one place. We have just discussed there are three waves. The essence is only the water. Are you not looking at the wave? Water, the essence. One day I asked the master, what will happen to me if you leave me after 5 years? Do you know Guru never dies? What you're looking at my body. That Guru means knowledge, moving from ignorance to the knowledge. Knowledge is what? Knowledge, you cannot have knowledge without consciousness. So it means it is the consciousness. So what is consciousness? It is the absolute existence consciousness, simply. And then he gave almost 5 or 6 long talks. How come the Guru is the same as the Krishna? Guru is the same as. So it is you have to perceive. I need not to put it. I need only to explain it. I have to put the knowledge. Can you reach to that knowledge where you recognize the life changes? Because I have now the third eye perception. That is what the right perception is. What is third eye perception? Now the self perceives the self. There is
I
no
kind of love
I.
that.
I do
I
not
find
perceive you. You do not perceive me.
I'll read or hear something that like Jesus said, and I think,
Yeah.
oh wow, that's he wasn't a Krishna. He did. I feel like he didn't know. Like Krishna is a teacher, a master who teaches, right? But Jesus was just trying to express
Yeah.
from that state, but you can hear it, and now I used to not understand anything, and now I can look in the
Yeah.
Bible, and oh
You're
wow,
right. You're
it's
right.
really neat.
You are right. Like the Jesus, when he says that love is God, people misunderstand him. When the Jesus said they don't know what they are doing when he was getting crucified. So we get the answer from the Eastern wisdom. They don't know who is crucifying me. They are crucifying the body. They cannot do it. They cannot crucify me. I am of that nature of infinite love in the consciousness. We get the answer from the Eastern wisdom.
Mhm.
That is the beauty. So we don't have any aversion against anyone. We are 100% clear. Now you see the Socrates. Had a, Socrates had a student, Mama, something starts from the M. And they have been together for 20 years, and every time Socrates used to return home with his students, his wife used to throw all the utensils and the bowls, and she always used to be angry, agitated, reactive. No more movement of the seeker. So, can you say that Socrates was not enlightened? Based on the comparison from his wife, that his wife did not change. It is possible. But anyhow, after 10 years, this student uh, had an intention to marry. So he said, I will ask my guru, Socrates, to marry or not, don't marry. So he asked, should I marry? Then get married. Socrates said with a smile, marry. But I have seen you for the last 10 years. She has not changed. He said, that is why I am Socrates. So you get married, you get a wonderful wife who cooperates you in the journey of the self-discovery, the worldly life, and you are already awakened. So both the lives will be wonderful. But if you happen to get a wife like me, there is no problem, my son. We will have another Socrates. Now you see that we understand by the models we have created 6 enemies and 6 treasures. So you already know it. 6 enemies of the mind and 6 treasures of the mind. You compare it, and that reshapes your personality, your attitude. So now, because he was a seeker, that is why the Socrates told this message. He should not have told others the same message. So the knowledge must strike my intellect, Drop the delusion of the mind to have that perception here and now. Here and now. That is the seventh chapter. But preparatory part is the first six chapters. That is an individual level.
Mhm.
So our focus is on Krishna, the universal form, who is the supreme consciousness. So we look Krishna as a subjective entity. You name it Jesus, instead of a Krishna, you name it Jesus, it will work. Buddha, we are talking of the infinite principle. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference. We are 100% clear. So, the first, we have to understand clearly the uh, so now just to give you a brief of it, Gita 7 necessary after first six chapters. So I told you before we discussed that seventh chapter is the basic fundamental principles that is expanded in next five chapters. So we have to keep in our mind first three verses talks about introduction and praise of this chapter. What is the benefit of learning this chapter? You think in this way, the first three verses. Krishna is appreciating. He is teaching and he is appreciating the first in the three verses. Why he is appreciating? Now I'm transitioning from individual to that supreme. That is the benefit. So once he has explained it, then you have five or six verses from the verse number 4 to 12. These are 8 or 9 verses. So 9 verses he says what exactly is the nature of Ishwar. In the West we all talk about the God, but we will go deeper. What exactly is the nature of that Ishwar? Then we move ahead, 13th to 19th verse. What is the cause of this entire world outside? How this world manifests? And the role of the karma. From the 20th to 26th, Master says there are two basic types of meditation. From 27 to 30th, he says the real meditation is only one. It is subjectless, it is objectless state of the mind, objectless state of the mind. You in Yoga Sutra we say 5 states of the mind. Fifth state is the Niruddha. They all talk of the same thing. They all talk of the same thing. That is the beauty, but in a totally different way. Gita is more